All right, all right, all right. Welcome in. Toilets to Titles. It is the night before Draft Miss Eve, where all of us will go to bed. And before we go to bed, we'll get down on our knees and we'll pray to the draft gods that our NFL organizations will make the right decisions. And I know me and Campy, we can rest peacefully because we know we did the right thing with Micah Parsons last year. All right. So we're still living on drafts past. But this evening, we're going to be talking 2022 NFL draft predictions, prop bets, discussion, all of the good stuff. And I have a whole gang of Toilets to Titles members with me this evening. I'm happy to see you all. I'm going to start, if you're watching at home, to my right, Johnny Trees at Hot Take Yinzer on the Twitter. How we doing this evening?
Oh, I'm great, man. It's been a wonderful day of just majestic out here in Western New York, Bills country, and yeah, I can't wait to talk the Steelers because that's what a person does who lives in Bills country is talk Steelers.
And wings, Buffalo
I
wings.
I had wings tonight, man.
Hell
It
yeah.
was all good.
Listen, if we all make it out to Canton this year for the NFL Fantasy Football Expo, you're gonna have to bring out some legitimate buffalo wings. Like we're gonna need, like trays and trays of legit buffalo wings so we can say that we've eaten them.
Definitely. That and in fact, I will tell you that Ken's about maybe 3 hours from my house. It might be a little soggy, but we'll make it work.
All right,
And
good,
actually,
good.
it's on the way, kind of. I think for you, so you could just swing on by, pick me up, and we'll go to Barbell Inn.
Awesome. I'm ready
The
to
best
rock and
wings in
roll.
Buffalo.
Oh, I'm gonna put him to a test. And with us as well this evening, Packers fan, the Dirt Man at Nate_Dirt19. Nate, how we doing?
Doing very well. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this week, and it's finally here, and ready for another letdown.
No. What wide receiver do you want? Number one on your Packers wish list. Which wide receiver is it?
It'd either probably be Garrett Wilson, obviously, but Drake London would be very nice.
Drake
I'd
London's
like
a bad
Olave
man.
or Wilson. Like I said, Olave would be nice for some return help too, but I like Drake London a lot. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds like you're willing to settle for one of the three. You just want one.
Yeah,
Fair assessment.
pretty much.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Just one.
Right.
Just give me one.
That's it. I mean, they got 2 picks. All right. And supposedly they're interested in Darren Waller, which is interesting
They
to me.
they shut that down, I think, today, but they are. But I think the Raiders said no.
Derek Carr said no.
I don't
But
care.
as
I
they
don't want
should have.
Darren Waller. We don't want tight end. Big Bob Tunion's the only one that's ever done anything as a tight end for us. So there's no point in paying a guy when we can just get some dude off the hate. Like last year, Dominic Daphne, the Indiana State Sycamore that nobody's ever heard of. That was a guy who was starting.
Good old
because people were
Dominic
hurt.
Daphne. That's where I thought
Yeah.
3 minutes into the show. That's exactly where I thought we'd be. This
Exactly. That's where we're going.
Yeah, Dominic Daphne. With us as well, down under, Andrew Campy at Andrew Campy on the Twitter, the mastermind behind all of the toiletstitles.com, all the graphics. He is blessing us with his presence this evening. How you doing, Andrew?
Yeah, not too bad. Surviving. It's kind of been really weird this year because I think the Cowboys probably, 15, 20 years ago, it was free agency was always about that big splash, we're gonna sign this guy, we're gonna sign that guy, and then we sort of moved to be conservative, but at the same time we've sort of rebuilt our stocks where we needed it. And then this year just seems like it's been a fire sale.
Yeah.
And then I think just because of the way that the draft is set up, I think because of COVID and everything else, there doesn't seem to be that kind of hype that we've had in previous years. It's not that battle of, which quarterback's going to go number one, or, as a lot of the experts seem to be talking about, the value seems to be this year is round 3, round 4, the quantity is high, but the quality is probably not as high. So it's kind of weird. I'm kind of in this lull at the moment, but draft time's always a fun time. So
Yeah. And I agree. Usually the Cowboys, what they do is they fill holes in free agency. Fill holes, not holds. They fill holes. They got rid of the guy who holds, and that's Connor Williams. He's gone. But then they can draft best player available. And this year, I think there's a hole at guard. There's a hole at center. There's a hole at, James Washington, I think, is an okay wide receiver 3, but we'll be without Michael Gallup for the first 4 weeks. So there are definitely some question marks, but hopefully they make the right decisions. And then finally, last but not least, sorry for making you wait, Joe, at Joe J_Clark on the Twitter. Joe knows. How we doing?
Good, man. Good. I just want to point something out. There's another take on what you were just talking about, that Cowboys have done a very good job of normally filling their holes in free agency. and just taking best player available. And there's another way to do that too, is that if your team really stinks and you need players all over the place, like my Giants, you can take best player available and not really worry about it.
All right. That's a good way. We're very optimistic this evening. I like it. We all should be optimistic because
Realistic.
I mean, you have two picks. You have 2 picks in the top 7. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. I think they'll trade out. I think they'll move one of them. I do. They did great last year. They did great last year moving and getting that Bears pick. That was awesome for them. Excuse me. But I do see them going with 1 pick, getting another pick next year, so that if they want to get a quarterback, they'll have the ammo to do it.
We'll see. I mean, like you guys were saying a little while ago, though, too, it's not like this is a QB. There's no obvious, 1 or 2 QBs out there that people want to trade up for. Or, I mean, I do think that there is probably going to be at least 1 quarterback who's going to go top 5, maybe 2 of them top 10. But I don't know how much movement there's going to be.
But that also means if there aren't a lot of great quarterbacks, that means if you really like one, you got to go get them. Because that also means there's no fallback plan. Where in years past, if there were 3 or 4 guys, you might be willing to wait and see if one of them gets to you. But if you really like somebody, that you might be willing, like the Saints. I've been saying this for the last month since they got that pick from the Eagles. I think the Saints I think they're going to be active. I think they're going up and they're going to get Willis.
I would think so too, because really, what's kind of the point of making that move and surrendering next year's first round pick in order to have 2 for this year? Like, there's really no rhyme or reason. I would think that they also had other talks with teams, in like the top 7 or 8 at least, to move up with those 2 picks. They had preliminary discussions, so that would be my assumption too. Or maybe they like 4 of these quarterbacks who they feel are worth of being picked at 16, and maybe they'd be happy with any 3 or 4 of them. So it is going to be interesting.
Let's open the doors here for some NFL draft discussion. Before we do that, I want to let everybody know, if you are watching at home on the YouTube, it'd appreciate it if you subscribed, hit the like button, threw some comments in here. Let us know what you're thinking about the NFL draft. Also, check out toiletstotitles.com. We'd all really appreciate that. You can find all of our articles, all of our episodes, all of Campy's sweet graphics. And also, make sure you go check out that Frankenstank episode, because we have about 18 spots to fill. That's our listener league. And it is going to be wild. I can promise you, we are in the lab. I've been talking with Justin. I've been talking with Ben. I've been bouncing everything off of Campy. We are working on some crazy stuff. And this league is unlike anything you've played in. I'll tell you this. It's 5 divisions of 12 teams, 5 copies, vampire style with a twist. Scoring is absolutely bonkers. I'll tell you the one thing we do. All right, this year we're adding it. If one of your players that's not a quarterback throws a passing TD one week, you get to start next week's game up 10 points. so we're doing all sorts of wild stuff. So if you want to get in Frankenstein, reach out to one of us on the Twitter and we will set you up. It's $25. But if you're Patreon level 3, all right, patreon.com/toiletstotitles, Patreon level 3 actually gets you in for free. And Patreon level 2 gets you in guaranteed. So we'd also appreciate some support there. But let's get right into NFL draft discussion. So the big talking point right now, we're talking about these quarterbacks. So, I mean, Malik Willis, we got Pickett, we got Ritter, we got Howell, there's Matt Corral. So there's a lot of these quarterbacks. And what do you guys think? Who are the quarterback needy teams? Do you see teams moving up for them? I'm going to open the door for the discussion there.
I'll go first. I mean,
go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, go ahead, John.
So this is our do or die thing. As a Steeler fan, it's quarterback or bust in the first round. I am not going to let it down if they don't draft a quarterback. There was talk on Pittsburgh radio today that one of the owners of, one of the people who own the Panthers or whatever talked about how he thinks the Steelers are going to really go after Pickett because it'll be the same, scenario as when they could have drafted Marino. Again, I call myself a hot take Yinzer. I'm not that unreasonable to think that. But for me, it's quarterback or defensive tackle or bust this draft. If they don't come out of the first round with that, then it's a fail.
All right, Joe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I think there's a slew of teams that can conceivably go for quarterback. I mean, real quick, we rattle them off. Detroit Lions picking at number 2. Listen, they've got Goff, but is he long-term plan? He didn't do so bad last year with the Lions, especially considering, there's a team being completely rebuilt. But having Goff right now gives you the opportunity where if you get someone like a Malik Willis who really needs to sit on the bench for a year, you're in a great position to do so. You got Goff right there. He can help keep the team moving forward while he's developing on the bench. Malik Willis, that is. You got the Texans. I doubt they're going to take a quarterback because I think Davis Mills actually did perform really well last year. And the Jets know, but the Panthers are obvious. The Falcons are obvious. Seahawks are obvious. You might even have Washington, right? Washington's got, Wentz, and I actually defend Wentz more than I think most people. But, is he going to be just like a guy who's holding the place for right now, holding the fort? And of course these are just top 11 teams, so there's a lot of teams there. And John was saying, John Trees was saying, number 20, Pittsburgh. And these are just, like 6-7 teams right there. And me, myself, the way I see quarterback is that, man, yeah, listen, there is every year, there is a team making a move for quarterback, right? There always is. And I do think like there are 4 or 5 quarterbacks that could, even Ritter, who seems to be talked about the least, are guys that could conceivably go. If you're not trying to give up too much, stay where you are. You can get a quarterback that, if it doesn't work out, it's only 1 first-round pick. And there are plenty of first-round busts that happen every single year, so you don't have to sweat it too much, in my opinion.
All right, let's we'll get back to quarterbacks. Excuse me. In a bit, but right now let's talk about our favorite franchises and what we think they'll do. So I know that Johnny Trees mentioned the Steelers. He mentioned quarterback. I think he said defensive line. Nate, you got wide receivers on the mind. Joe, what do you think the Giants should do with those 2 picks?
Oh man, it depends who's there on the board. I mean, like I was saying before, and I wasn't knocking the team. I mean, it's just reality that they're not a good team. They have holes all over the place. But I mean, ideally for me, I mean, if they stay at 5 and 7, I love one of the offensive tackles, whether it's Aquanu, Neal, even Charles Cross.
Charles Cross has been a big climber. I heard a little bit. I heard a little bit about him. Over
I was
the draft
surprised
process.
he even had to climb, in my opinion.
I mean, but the last month it was Aquanu and Neal. That's what it was. That's consensus was. But then Cross, he's solidified. Now some people are even thinking he might go ahead of Neal.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he's supposed to be allegedly the best, and I thought so too. Early on in this, reviewing these players in the process, that he's the best pass protector. Now, I'd rather have Aquanu or Neal over him. I think they have higher ceilings, but just coming into the draft, I think he is the best pass protector. And say he's even ranked like the 12th best player in the draft, and the Giants took him at 5. Like, if people talk about reaching, it's not like this is a guy who's ranked like 25th. It's not like it would be need. I think somewhat meets value, and I think he'd be a solid pick. And for a team that's needed offensive line help for a long time, there you go. I'd also like, I would assume this for the 7th pick or 5th, whatever. I'd like to get out of 5th and 7th with an offensive lineman, and either Sauce Gardner, or
that's 5.
What's that? Possibly.
That's 5.
Possibly either or. Yeah, either Sauce
Dane
Gardner.
Brugler has the Giants taking Evan Neal at 5 and Sauce Gardner going to the Giants at 7.
I can't complain, especially with Wink Martindale as a new defensive coordinator. He really likes to stock up in the secondary.
Top 5 name.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
No. Wink. Top 5 name. Wink.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Wink and Sauce be good together.
So overplayed though. Like, yeah. Like,
but
honestly, though, I'm glad he's not playing. He's with the Ravens anymore. But that's just
with his defensive scheme,
play like a Raven.
He likes to play press coverage and then send blitzers. But listen, if Gardner's not there, I'd be very happy to say with Jermaine Johnson. Thibodeau.
He's another guy, man. Some people now are starting to say Jermaine Johnson's the number 2 edge.
I love Jermaine Johnson, and I'm open to the idea of Trevon Walker as well. But I just love his versatility.
I think Trevon Walker's the favorite to go 1 now.
I can't. I'll
Yeah,
buy it when I
well-
see it.
Todd McShay actually has him going number one.
Guess who
So,
placed a
and-
bet on him 3 weeks ago to go number one overall?
Did you? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Hey, listen, he could. And listen, he is versatile. This is a guy who can play either 3-4 defense, 4-3 defense. He could play on the outside. He could play on the inside. He is Travon Walker is a special case of that. This guy is huge. I forgot his exact height, but he is tall.
Someone said it on this show though a few weeks ago, and I wish I could give them credit, but I forget who it was. And they compared. It might have even been you, Joe. I'm not sure. Compare this Georgia defense to that Clemson defense a few years back, and all of those players came out of Clemson, and they're just okay. It's almost like they're lifted up because they're all talented.
So talented.
But when you separate them, how good are they really going to be? Like I'm almost
That's
a little. Go ahead, John.
No, that's my Penn State linebacker argument. They never pan out in the NFL. 9 times out of 10, they do not pan out in the NFL. And it's because Penn State just has a, history of great linebackers, but like
that number 10 though, that 10 out of the,
yeah.
Who cares about those other 9? Let's care about that last one.
Sean Lee, LeVar Arrington.
I'm a fan of Penn State talent myself.
Yeah, you and I had the discussion a couple weeks ago.
But listen, Alabama used to be the same way, where I used to be scared. Going back like 6-7 years ago, I used to be afraid of like talent coming out of Alabama, especially
Reggie Ragland.
Yeah,
they had linebackers for days, and none of them are even Rashawn Evans.
Offensive line as well, and these guys stunk, or just they were mediocre at best, but it's not really that way anymore. But listen, I think Travon Walker. Listen, I think he's more of a projection than say like Aiden Hutchinson or Thibodeau, but the guy's got serious upside. So, listen, I'd love to get a combination of an offensive lineman in either Gardner or a defensive end. So,
all right, Nate, I'm going to tell you. So I follow theathletic.com. I'm a subscriber. I love Dane Brugler's work. He's been on the show before. A little plug there, and he has Chris Olave going to the Green Bay Packers at 22nd overall. So, Nate, how would you feel? Let's see your reaction. It's draft night. Nate's hanging out. Finley's in his arm. Packers select Chris Olave, 22nd overall.
Well, hopefully he'll be up in his crib asleep because I would be jumping up and down, hooping and hollering.
Okay.
I'd love to get Chris Olave. That'd be pretty awesome. Like I said, he's a good pretty much anywhere, I guess you could say. Great returner. We drafted Amari Rodgers and he can't catch the ball, so it'd be nice to have a guy that maybe can return punts besides Randall Cobb. We need somebody to throw the ball to. So yeah, that'd be awesome. But
so you'd be very happy. You'd be very happy. And then they have him taking the Packers taking Travis Jones, a 28 defensive tackle from Connecticut, I guess, to go next to Rashawn Gary. So
that'd be awesome.
There's some action. Let me see what he has the Pittsburgh Steelers doing. Desmond Ridder, Cincinnati. I know you wanted Willis, John. How would you feel about Ridder?
He's the guy.
Yeah, I haven't really watched.
He's been touchdowns against real teams. He's 44 and 5 as starter. He's got the third most wins in college FBS history right now. He's
a big dude. They play what conference?
Best college career.
Better than Malik Willis.
Yeah,
he left Auburn. Why did he leave Auburn?
So I was saying this from the jump that he ran from Bo Nix, and then somebody said, well, Joe Burrow ran from Ohio State, and whoever was there at Ohio State, he was better than. So I did have that argument, and Burrow did go to LSU. Malik Willis went to Liberty, but sometimes bad coaching, affects, So
I mean, people say Cam Newton left Florida. Well, he went to Auburn. Went to the SEC.
Cam Newton didn't leave. I was at Florida when Cam Newton was there. He got thrown out because he stole somebody's laptop, ran into a dormitory, got chased upstairs, threw it out the window before he got caught, and they kicked him off campus. So he got kicked off campus.
That's probably why Rodney Harrison ended up here at my college.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing in regards to the Steelers QB situation. There's 3 targets I have. Ridder, I haven't really watched a lot of film on, full disclosure. Willis, I watched some film on. Kenny Pickett, I got to see up close and personal. I love the guy. However, he's going to be what? He's 24 now, so like he's already going to be. because he's a 5th-year starter, he's going to lose a year, and he's just going to be. I mean, if they want a long-term solution like they have with Ben, they're not going to get it.
But
So
if you're gonna do that at any position, quarterback's the position, right? Like, I mean, how many quarterbacks do we have at the moment who are playing into their late 30s? Like, if you're talking about a running back that's 24, 25 scares me, but a quarterback, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And here's the thing: like, I actually got to watch Pickett play in Pittsburgh against Virginia, and his poise, his ability to move the pocket, checks all the boxes for me. He may not happen. Some of the drafts I'm looking at right now have him going like as high as 10 to Carolina.
Well, Uncle Steve thinks he's going to Pittsburgh. Uncle Steve's calling it.
I'm not going to lie. If that happens, there's 2 situations where I will go full Yinzer and buy a jersey the next day. Pickett and Willis. Boom. It's done. So
it's done. Yeah, if you want to get a jersey, subscribe to Toilets to Titles and find my tweet on Twitter where I mentioned if we get to 500 subscribers by Thursday, I will get one person. We'll do a random wheel selection on next Tuesday's night show. We'll put everybody's name in there. You have to be subscribed. You have to like that tweet. So find that tweet, and I will get you a free jersey, official jersey of the player your team picks in the first round. If you don't have a first round pick, I'll get you a second round pick. How about this? If your team doesn't have a first round pick, I'll let you pick any player on your current team. All right,
there you go.
And we'll go that way. Go ahead, Joe. You're going to say something.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to subscribe with my burner account and hopefully win that game.
There'll be a few tells. There'll definitely be a few tells. Yeah, there'll be a few tells. Guys, now, well, Justin's in the chat. I saw he thinks the Colts better be in love with a couple wide receivers. Well, Dane Brugler has them taking my guy, Sky Moore, in the second round. So that would be a very solid selection with big man Michael Pittman. You throw Sky Moore in the slot on turf. He'll replace T.Y. Hilton like that. All right, do you guys believe there's any running backs in this year's draft class that are worthy of going in the first round?
Back into the first round, I think Breece Hall. It's funny. I keep seeing
Where do you want him to go?
I could see him going to Tampa Bay. I don't think they'll do it.
I think Tampa's been active. I think Tampa's been active bringing in running backs this year in the draft, and
he's actually been mocked in our all the Wednesday night mock drafts that I've been doing for the past 6 weeks, and that John has been doing with me for the past few weeks. I've been compiling all the picks and data information, and he's been consistently mocked to Tampa Bay. I think by us early on, like in the first 2 mock drafts, and then by the system consistently to Tampa Bay. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it does make sense.
Yeah,
they don't have all that many holes, Tampa Bay.
No, and my argument with running backs on why you don't take them, taking a running back high in the first round to me sounds like a risk. Like, it's just the sort of the value you get at running back compared to other positions doesn't really sort of unless you're getting that sort of unicorn running back. However, the flip side of that is I love the value of getting a running back at position 29, position 30, because if you do that, you get that 5th-year option. So from my point of view with a running back, you get that 5th-year option, and then after that, you don't re-sign them. So I think, that 28, 29, 30, that kind of range, I think you will see a running back go simply for that fact that you get that extra year out of them.
Now, I'm seeing Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa, the center, top 5 player in this class, being projected to go end of first, early second. I think it would be the biggest travesty if this cat fell out of the first round. I know he's scheme dependent. I know he doesn't really necessarily meet all the requirements for arm length and size, but this is a bad dude. I think he's going to be an all-pro. If I had to bet something significant on any player to be an all-pro in this class, it would be Tyler Linderbaum. Are there any players in this class that either of you guys are willing to plant your flag on and say, this guy, I'm guaranteeing he's going to be an all-pro? Who is it?
So I must say, as I said, I'm a bit not deflated isn't the right word, but I haven't done my research as much as I would have liked on this draft. But the minute you started talking about Tyler, I was thinking, I thought you were going to say he's predicted to the Cowboys. If the Cowboys took him, I'm like, I would be more than happy. Like that. To me, it's almost back to that whole, taking Travis Frederick. Oh, you don't take him that early. Rubbish. That's if he's good enough,
Yeah.
take him. I'd rather have someone that we can sort of plug and play that we're happy with, rather than sitting there going, oh well, we value him 5 or 6. It was, I think Joe said earlier, it's that really funny thing where we sit there and we talk about, oh, there's no quarterback in the first round. Well, you're talking about 32 positions there. Like, when it comes down to it, if you get a quarterback who's good, like let's say that you get a Pro Bowl or maybe just slightly lower Pro Bowl quarterback, that's going to have a lot more value than, sitting there saying, well, we picked some defensive end because we ranked him 5 spots higher. So, from my point of view, like, if he went to the Cowboys, I would be more than happy with that. As far as the Cowboys, I think they've done a better job of saying, let's get a guy who can play.
Right.
And so, from my point of view if he
I
goes
was-
to the Cowboys,
I was listening to a Cowboys podcast today, and they were kind of just messing around, and they took Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green in the first round, and Linderbaum was there, like let's say 10 picks into the second, and they moved up and selected Linderbaum. I'm telling you, if the Cowboys found a way to end up with one of Green and Johnson and Linderbaum, like, sign me up. Sign me up. That is a home run. You just, fix this offensive line. We can worry about replacing Tyron next year. We'll give it another go. And that's I know you got the Tyron jersey. I love Tyron, but that dude, he's got tread on the tires, man. And we can't expect any more than 12 games from him. In which, 12 solid games, but that he's like that old dog that, he's still out, protecting the house, but it's almost time to take him out back. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Are there any players that you guys feel? Go ahead.
Two more
Nate.
really quick. Stingley and Sauce Gardner both all pro.
All pro
Right now. Yeah, both of
So
them.
you're not worried about
awesome.
Stingley, like, kind of checking out the injuries?
Liz Frank, man, like that's what it was. That's one of the hardest injuries to try to play through. I just forgot.
You're not nervous that he did try to play through it and maybe mess himself up, maybe further the damage it.
I think it was. He said that he tried to play through it. Was like, I can't. Let's fix it. And go on. Because he was the best player on that team his freshman year on that defense that won the national championship. He was the best player on the team. And I understand he kind of went downhill from there, but that's, like I said, that's not great. But he'll return to form. I think he's awesome. I really do, and I think he's going to be fine wherever he ends up. I don't know.
I think it matters where he ends up. I think if he ends up in a good situation with a solid secondary, I think you're going to see him thrive. If he ends up somewhere where the team's like a pile of shit, I think you're going to see him crumble a little bit.
Well, because like I said, the Liz Frank thing, I think it was a Steelers receiver, and I can't remember who in the last 10 years had a Liz Frank injury, and it ended his career. Like I said, it can be a bad thing if you don't get it fixed right, and that's what he did, is got it fixed. And so he's obviously rehabbing, and so like I said, I am more confident with Sauce, but I think Stingley will be just fine. I think he'll be an All-Pro too. He's gonna be awesome.
Justin's saying that Kyle Hamilton is his bet to be an immediate Pro Bowler. I'll tell you this: Dax Hill is going to be better than Kyle Hamilton. Tell you that right now. Dax Hill, baby.
Possibly.
John, who you planting your flag on?
Oh man, going back to the Liz Frank thing real quick. That was Le'Veon Bell.
I thought there was a receiver. Anyways, it's fine. Not a big deal.
It's fine. Honestly, I think Jordan Davis, man, going back to the whole like Georgia, like Clemson equivalent, I really do think that this kid is just gonna be, if he falls, if all the QBs are gone for the Steelers and he just happens to fall in our laps, I will be all for it. I really do think that this kid's something special though.
He's going to make life for linebackers very, very easy because he's just going to eat up blocks. Offensive lines are going to have to pay so much attention to him. Is Devin Bush? What's up with Devin Bush? I haven't heard that name. Is he still around? Does he still play football?
He's still around, and I think he's in his last year of his rookie deal, and it's put up or shut up with this kid. Like he was gangbusters the first couple of seasons. Last year did nothing. And the thing of it is he has TJ Watt on his team.
Right.
Like, you mean to tell me you can't do squat with TJ Watt on your team? And the problem with see what I did there? You threw me off, damn it.
Sorry.
Anyway. So going back to the whole point, the big thing today at the Mike Tomlin press conference with the draft was the question of whether or not Stephon Tuitt would be available. So is defensive tackle really a need for the Steelers? And he had a coy smile when he brought up Stephon Tuitt. So I think that maybe Stephon Tuitt will be back. Is Stephon Tuitt as great as he is?
But they're different players.
Yeah.
Tuitt's a penetrator. And I think Combo passes defended. So Justin's chiming in. Combo's passes defended, tackles, and interceptions total. Hamilton, Dax rookie season.
That sounds like a bathroom board bet.
Justin, put it on the bathroom board. Dax is a chess piece, man. Kyle Hamilton's a deep safety. You're giving that one away. Put it on the bathroom board. I'll take that all day. We'll throw it on there, man. We got to come up with some more NFL draft bathroom board bets. So let's keep them flying. I'm gonna start bringing in the prop bets, fellas. All right, let's start
Johnny
talking
Trees,
prop bets.
the receiver, Santonio Holmes. By the way, that's who I was thinking of.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, and I was showing my nephews how great of a catch he had in Super Bowl 43. Dare you to find a better catch in a Super Bowl? Dare you?
Joe can probably tell you about one.
Not even on the same parallel. Not even on the same parallel. Not in the same universe.
Are you kidding me? Against Tom Brady, catching it on his helmet.
Oh, that was great. I'll actually take that. I like the Mario Manningham catch
against the
46 even more.
What was the one against the Packers in the playoffs? Who caught? There was.
There was
on the sideline.
On the sideline. Well, there was. I don't know. Maybe you're thinking of the Hail Mary.
No, it was a thread in the needle and whatever. I don't want to keep gushing over the New York Giants.
Oh, but before you move on to the prop bets, I'll plant my flag. Hey, listen, I think Daxton Hill is. I'm not going to plant. I think Daxton Hill. I could plant my flag in, but he's not my number one. I'm going to stick with probably my favorite player in the draft, and that's Aiden Hutchinson. I do think this guy is going to be a difference maker early on in his career, regardless of where he goes. I love the guy. He's a big time performer, high motor. Seemingly great character guy, had a great senior year, knocked it out of the park at the combine. I love Aiden Hutchinson. So I'll definitely plant my flag there. Also, real quick, Stingley does worry me. If he were, I know Minnesota, I think picking at 12 needs serious secondary help. He'd be, I think, awesome for them at 12.
I don't think he'd be good there.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Guess who's there?
I'd be worried taking him top 5.
Guess who's there in Minnesota right now? Former LSU great Patrick Peterson. I think Minnesota would be a great fit for him.
I think it would be. There's been a lot of talk about him going like top 7 or 8 over the past week or two, Stingley. And I'm just given that we haven't seen the production over the past 2 years, injuries, what have you. It's 2 years.
Yeah.
That worries me. So
man, Houston, I've heard Sauce Gardner to Houston. I've heard Derek Stingley to Houston. I feel like, does anybody have any idea what Houston's going to do?
Houston's got 2 picks as well.
Yeah, and I was going to say this earlier. This draft is going to be so strange. I think we're going to be quite surprised when we see trades in the first couple of picks. All of a sudden we're used to that. The second pick in the draft going for 3 first rounders or something. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if it's, a first and 2 seconds or something this year in that kind of top 10, because we've got a lot of guys who are looking to move down, but there's no one really that the other team's looking to move up for. So I think, if you're someone who, let's say, Hutchinson's not going to drop that much, but let's say he drops to sort of 5 or 6 or whatever. I think you'll find one of those lower teams who are a bit more savvy saying, hey, look, we'll chuck you two seconds as well as our first to try and get to that spot. And then I think what we'll find is if a couple of quarterbacks go middle of the first round, I think you'll find a couple of teams will panic trade, and you will find some really bizarre trades at the end of the first. I think we'll be surprised when we hear that, it's, the 30th pick for 2 firsts or something bizarre like that. I think it's going to be a really strange first round, or even a really strange draft when it comes to trades, I think.
Man, it's going to be strange, and the reactions are going to be wild. And if you want to see our reactions, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be streaming the entire first round Thursday night. We're just going to be chilling, watching the draft, as fans. We're going to be podcasters, but we're also going to be fans. And you guys, you can come and watch it with us. And heck, if you're in the stream, we might even invite you in. If you're in the chat, we might invite you in because we love to have one big party with the Toilets to Titles family. So make sure you're subscribed and check that out because it is going to be wild, man. And I don't know what Houston's going to do. There are going to be a lot of trades. I heard Jerry saying, he's interested in going up. And then there's rumors if Kayvon Thibodeau falls, the Cowboys might be interested. And then 24 hours later, I see if Kayvon Thibodeau falls, the Eagles might be interested. The Eagles need to get off our jock, man. All right, we want somebody, they want somebody, man. Go get your Jalen Reagor and or your who's the cat from Stanford they draft, JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Go make those selections. Yeah, that was a terrible selection, man. But not full disclosure, I liked Reagor at TCU. I did. I thought that cat could play. I thought him and Rondale Moore were going to come into the league like gangbusters. Yeah. And I still believe in Rondale Moore, but I do not believe in Jalen Reagor. All right. So let's move on to some prop bets. First overall selection. So this was like a week ago. All right. So this isn't updated. I know this is kind of changing. Aiden Hutchinson was negative 200. Trayvon Walker was plus 200. Ike Ekwonu was plus 1,200. Evan Neal plus 2,000. And Kayvon Thibodeau was in there plus 2,000. So I think where does everyone stand? Does everyone think it's going to be Hutchinson? Who thinks it's going to be Walker?
No. Me.
What do you think,
Trayvon
Nate?
Walker. Number one.
Trayvon
Walker to the Jaguars. Yeah.
Is that because you think the Jaguars know what they're doing, or is it because you think the Jaguars don't know what they're doing?
Well,
ultimately, do you think that'll be a good pick or a bad pick?
They don't know what they're doing. But I think it'll be a good pick, and I don't think it would be bad if they took Hutchinson. I think the thing that they can be worried about possibly with Hutchinson, his arms are a little short, not like T-Rex guy, but like I said, they're not super long like you would want.
Who's T-Rex guy?
I'm trying to think of guys.
Are you referring to like a fictional character, T-Rex guy?
No, just like
the T-Rex arms.
Like no, I know what you're talking about. So you're saying not like a T-Rex guy? I thought you were saying the T-Rex guy. And if you were mentioning the T-Rex guy, I need to know who this T-Rex guy is because I'd like to get him on the show.
No. That'd be awesome. But I think that could be a problem. Like I said, they have, like kind of that gap scheme they run, and it, you need long arms to reach it, and I think he can get pushed out of the way and kind of be more ineffective. I don't know. I'm not a big edge rusher guy anyways, to be honest with you. I just think they spend too much time running past the quarterback, but that's just
not if you're Micah Parsons, baby.
I think when we look at it,
he's a weapon.
You look at Mario Williams, and then you look at Jadeveon Clowney. When these guys come in, it's like I feel like with like Hutchison, like if you said to me, is he going to be a Pro Bowler? The answer is probably yes. But is that a one-time Pro Bowler? Is that a two-time Pro Bowler? We don't really know. And that's the kind of concern I have is when you're taking edge rushers that high, they've proven to have high floors, but not great ceilings. So it's kind of a weird one for me. It's like, I don't know if it's really something your fan base at this stage at least gets excited about if you're taking a defensive end that high, because I think, as I said, I think he'll be good, but will he be great? And that's the problem. I just don't know.
All right. So ultimately, if you think it's going to be Trayvon Walker, raise your hand. For those listening at home, I will tell you, Nate raises his hand. Johnny Trees raises his hand. Andrew Campy raises his hand. I'm going to raise my hand too. I think it's going to be Walker. And Joe is alone. He's
minus 190, by the way.
Now it's Walker's the favorite, minus 190.
Minus 190.
I got him. So what's Hutchinson at?
I think it's going to be Matt Araiza.
Actually, I have a prop bet for him we're going to talk about later.
All right, we got more prop bets. All right, so first quarterback selected. Malik Willis is minus 175. Kenny Pickett is plus 150. Desmond Ridder is plus 700. Matt Corral is plus 1,200. And Sam Howell is plus 5,000. So, gentlemen, which quarterback is going first?
I'll say Malik Willis.
Pickett. I really think Pickett's going to go to Carolina.
At 6.
Yep. There's a whole Pitt connection to the Carolina Panthers, the owner is a Pitt guy, so it's like it makes sense.
Like this is like insider intel right now, plus 150, and Johnny's telling you, man, make this bet. The only problem would be if somebody trades ahead of Carolina for Willis, and I think New Orleans is going up to 2. I do. I just feel it in my loins.
The thing for me with the Panthers, I know they need somebody. I don't know if I was Matt Rule, I would tell them don't. I would say don't draft a quarterback right now. I don't think these guys are like. I mean, I think they'll be fine. I don't think they're like surefire things. And what happens to a coach with a new quarterback within a couple of years? Look at Matt Nagy was a dipshit, so it's hard to show him. But Matt Rule's in the hot seat anyways. So
he is.
He gets like Kenny Pickett, and then it's like, oh shit, this isn't going to be perfect year one. Hey, see you later, Matt Rule. Like you're better off having PJ Walker, who actually has played a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't want to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, they don't want Baker Mayfield.
No, I don't want him.
Yeah, what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield? Like, solve that puzzle for me. Too short?
Can't see anybody.
Is he alligator guy or dinosaur guy, T-Rex guy?
No, he's just too short. He's like a little velociraptor or something.
All right. Velociraptors are badass.
Yeah, well,
they
can
run. You learned that on the mascot draft the other night.
I watched that. So go watch the Fun Day draft. That was very fun to watch.
Fun.
The Suns. I think Justin wins with the Wizards and the Magic. Like with Wizards and Magic, he could just transport all of you into some sort of black hole. But the Devils was another one because the Devils, I know it's the New Jersey Devil, and we're going on a little bit of a tangent. If you're watching at home, now you need to pause the show, go watch the draft day episode, and come back at 42:04. The Devil, like that's the Devil, man.
It's New Jersey Devil, which
I know. Chuck Norris is. What more do you want?
I'm just saying, Wizards and Magic. They'd like,
You can't compete with Chuck Norris.
Listen, I have a star. I have stars. They will melt the Wizards.
I don't know. No, but the Wizards, if they're good enough, all right, if they're Gandalf level Wizards, they'll take your stars and they'll shrink them and put them at the end of their wand as trinkets.
Gandalf never did that.
He would though. He would. Man, who knows what he did? What right? Didn't he when he went away, when he became Gandalf the White? Wasn't he gone for like multiple lifetimes? Like.
Yes.
We have no idea
what the hell are you guys talking about.
Thank you, Steve Evans. Steve Evans.
We're off on a tangent upon tangent here.
Joe, do you know what Gandalf did the whole time he was away?
Yeah, I think he was working at a supermarket.
Yeah, right. So you don't know. He could have been messing with stars. Yeah, Kurt Warner. Gandalf
I don't remember. I haven't read the books in decades.
Didn't he do that? You shall not pass line.
That was before. That was before he went away. That's when the that thing got him with the whip and pulled him down, and he said, "Run, you fools," or something of the sort. All right. So first quarterbacks selected.
Desmond Ritter. Give me Desmond Ritter plus 10,000.
Yeah. Plus 10,000.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think it's plus 10,000 because I
put plus 1,000. Sorry.
It's because it was plus 700. So that means the odds have been falling. So all right. So Nate's got Desmond Ritter. Johnny Trees has Pickett. Joe's got Willis. Who do you got, Campy?
Yeah, look, I think I'm on the Willis bandwagon. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those kind of things of it could be anyone really. I think it's going to be two things: whether or not these teams can draft trade down that they're allegedly trying to do, and then on top of that, I think it's probably fit for which team really. It's you've got that kind of opportunity to sit there and look at all these guys and say, which one do we think fits our team best? Because there's not really one that you're looking at that you're thinking, wow, he is so far ahead of the other guys that we're not even going to consider them. Yeah. So I think it's really, it's just going to come down to who they think's best. But when all else fails.
You sound really smooth.
Do I? Oh, there you go.
Is this, do you have your new microphone set up?
I do. So
man, I forgot about that. So you're breaking, is this like the inaugural,
that's why I thought, I've got to get on and try it out. See, so
it all made sense to me. I was, while you were talking, I was like, man, Campy really wanted to get on this evening. Did he just want to see me? And then I was like, wait, he got a new microphone. So man, you sound crystal clear.
Well, that's good because my joke in the chat was the fact that even though we're toilets to titles, we probably don't want our our microphone sounding like we're in the toilet. And that was the problem with my old microphone, was I always had that weird echo where it sounded like I was recording from the bathroom, and I wasn't, but it did sound like that. So
it was on
I'm
brand
glad
for
I'm
a
sounding
while.
better.
It was on brand for a while, but we're trying to come out of it. All right, so that's I'm going to go with Willis. So we're kind of all over the board there. So comment with who you think is being selected first, who you think is the first quarterback to be selected. Let's move on. Let's be more specific with Malik Willis. Which team will select Malik Willis? When I got these notes the other day, Carolina Panthers were the favorite at plus 250. Pittsburgh was right behind them at plus 350. The Lions plus 350 tied, and they picked number 2 overall. Joe gave me a thumbs up there. If you're listening, you didn't see it. That's why you got to subscribe to the channel. You can see things like that. Atlanta Falcons are plus 350. They're tied with the Steelers and Lions as well, which is very interesting to me. Seahawks tied as well at plus 350. And then the Saints are at plus 900 and the Giants at plus 1,200. And I think Joe, in the first mock, Joe knows on Wednesday nights, did you have Malik Willis to the Giants in the first mock?
I did, and I had explained that I was doing it kind of like more like for fun to shake things up, because I know most people, and they still do, and they have Malik Willis mocked to the Panthers. I do think there's like a 20-25% chance, and I still maintain it as I did 6 or 7 weeks ago, that the Giants could actually take him at 5. But I do think he's going to wind up going to Detroit, or someone's going to trade up to Detroit's position to take him.
All right. If you're watching at home, you'll also see him.
I'm not big on
There's
the
a
guy,
little family feud,
but he's
going
got
on
a very high
Justin and Uncle
ceiling.
Steve. They need to take it easy. They need to take it outside. All right. So not at 2. So you don't think it's going at 2, Nate?
I think Malik Willis is going to go number 9 to the Seahawks. If he doesn't go to the Seahawks at 9, he'll go to the Lions at 32.
It's a big drop.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think the Steelers are set on.
To the Lions at 32, like, are the Steelers for sure going to try Pickett then? Well, what do you see going on there?
I think Pickett or Ritter. I think, to be honest with you, I don't know. I get worried about Willis. Like I said, the competition he played against, I know he's not Trey Lance, and Trey Lance also just took a whole year off, and Liberty is not North Dakota State, but it's the same thing for me. It kind of worries you a little bit. I know you can't do that with every single player, but
I still believe in Trey Lance.
And
Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson.
I believe in Zach Wilson. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo is still in San Francisco for a reason.
Because nobody's willing to trade for him.
I would take him over Carl Wentz and Baker Mayfield.
Nobody
and Sam
wants
Darnold.
Jimmy Garoppolo for what they're.
He's guaranteed like $1.5 million. Like, it's not going to cost you that much. You have to take a contract on. Anyways, I think that the Lions, anyways, what's the point of using your second pick on a quarterback when you're probably going to be picking the same spot next year anyways, when there's CJ Stroud and Bryce Young and other guys that are probably going to do better.
And they're looking for a new head coach because Dan Campbell is just not going to cut it.
No.
There will be no Dan Campbell
Aiden
slander on this
Hutchinson
show.
and Dan Campbell will be breaking car windows out in Detroit all summer long and biting up kneecaps. Just having a ball.
Smash.
Hutchinson to the Lions. Right, then number 2.
And then
I will tell you, Hard Knocks is going to be good watching this year.
I am pumped.
Take it to the bank.
I'm so excited.
Take it to the bank.
Joe
This is really going to be good watching.
Joe was so upset about the Dan Campbell talk that he laughed.
I love Dan Campbell. I love that guy.
The thing that I find about Malik Willis is it's kind of one of those things where, and you could say it probably about 60% of the quarterbacks that get drafted, they're probably better if they go to a position where they can afford to sit or go somewhere where they're going to get that really good coaching staff. And so that's what really worries me about a guy like that is I reckon his boom bust potential is it's going to be tied to what team he goes to.
Where's the best situation
for him?
What's the best situation for him?
Oh, I think somewhere like Pittsburgh, I think would be great from a point of view of, I think that they would, take care of him the right way. Detroit, I don't know whether or not, don't get me wrong. I think
that's not the best place.
The coach has done a good job, but
the reason why I'm convinced.
What about Tennessee? How long are they tied to Tannehill?
They're not. There was actually talk of him of Tennessee drafting a quarterback this year, but they'll probably wait until next year. Here's the thing.
That'd be completely different than what they have in Tannehill. But I mean, Tannehill just drives the bus.
Yeah.
You could teach this kid to do that and just every now and then, break away. But go ahead, John.
Well, going back to the Pittsburgh thing and just one more quick touch on it. The reason why I am sold on Pickett is because I think he fits Matt Canada's style of offense. Last year, Ben Roethlisberger was a glorified game manager, just captain, dump off and stuff like that. And it was kind of sad. At the same time, it was kind of like if you watch what Canada did, prior to in college, when he ran like Pitt's offense and stuff like that, it was a totally different animal. I think there's some familiarity there. And that's what makes me think and pray, that I'll clutch my terrible towel later, that Pickett's going to go to Pittsburgh.
I heard too about Pickett that this is for Dana Orlovsky, that NFL guy for ESPN or whatever. He's quarterback, whatever, UConn dude. He said that Pitt ran the same play like every play, like different formation, but it's like the same play every time.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's not getting talked about a lot? Speaking of,
Zappy.
Well, no, Carson Strong. He can't move. Dude can't move. Dude has the best arm in the draft. And I watched some film on him. I think it was Waldman breaking him down. I'm not 100% sure. I watched so much stuff during this draft season, but he's like making checks at the line of scrimmage, like in complete control of the offense. It was very impressive to watch. So, I think he can come in and play too, man. If he's in the right situation, Carson Strong, he could sling it.
Matt Corral is going to be – I'm excited to see where he goes. I think you and I talked about this, Coach, a while back. Like, we want him to go somewhere kind of like Dak did, where he got to sit for a little while. And like he said that a little bit ago, it's so much better for a guy to sit. Some guys aren't going to have that opportunity. And there's so many quarterbacks that have failed that we don't know what they would have ever been had they had 2 or 3 years. But I think Matt Corral, I loved him before the injury, and I obviously don't think he's going to be picked above any of the guys we've been talking about. But, if he's got 2 years behind somebody, hell, you know what? Packers, take him at 22. I don't give a shit. Let him sit behind there until his contract's done. Then Matt Corral can be the quarterback.
All right. You heard it there,
Nate.
Joe does too. Joe, I was talking about Carson Strong a little bit too, out of Nevada.
Yeah. I don't care if a quarterback's not that mobile as long as he can manipulate the pocket okay. And that could be taught if he doesn't do it already.
And he completely controlled that offense. Completely.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, and I actually like Matt Corral more than Pickett. Not a big difference there, but I'd say I like Corral more than Pickett. But the thing with this quarterback class too, and why I advocate for Detroit to take Willis is that, listen, I think it would be a good position that, he'd be behind Goff for a year. And quite honestly, listen, I don't think any of these quarterbacks are like, I could see a lot of these quarterbacks being where the first round projected guys where it's, you might take like Pickett or Corral in like 5 years. I could see a team like being like, we want more. So looking to draft a quarterback again. And I think Willis actually has that ceiling where he is definitely boom or bust. I don't think he's going to be anything in between, but he could sit for a year in Detroit. And quite frankly, listen, if Detroit really is drafting number 2 next year, if they need to, if they feel like they want to, and they want to take CJ Stroud or, Bryce Young, go for it. I mean, Arizona did it. It's 1 first-round pick. I mean, it's quarterback position, but you can't guarantee that you're going to be in position to get one of these quarterbacks next year.
All right, the last prop bet I have, all right, we'll wrap the episode up with this, is the first wide receiver selected. And I've seen, all of these wide receivers kind of being picked first in mock drafts. And Garrett Wilson is the favorite, or at least he was. So Nate can correct me if I'm wrong. He was at minus 140. And then it was Jameson Williams at plus 175. Then Drake London at plus 325. And then it dropped all the way to Olave and Treylon Burks, both tied at plus 2,500. So it seems like Wilson, Williams, and London were the favorites. So who do you think? So we had a chance to plant our flag earlier and pick your guy, but forget that now. Who do you think NFL teams will like the most? Who do you think is the first wide receiver selected?
You want to hear the odds real quick? The updated one?
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson's minus 110, Jameson Williams plus 175, Drake London plus 250, Olave plus 1,800, Treylon Burks plus 2,000, Christian Watson and Jahan Dotson plus 5,000, and Sky Moore plus 7,500.
Sky Moore.
Yeah.
I love me some Sky Moore, but he ain't going. He probably isn't even going in the first round. He's probably going to be, if he goes in the first round, it'll be somewhere between 26 and 32. All right. Sky Moore, Danny Gray, two of my favorite wide receivers that aren't being talked about. But Nate, which wide receiver is going first, man?
It depends on who takes one. I don't, like a team like the Falcons, I think they could take a guy like Jameson Williams first because it doesn't matter when he comes back because they're going to be really bad. But a team that is trying to do something, I don't think the Jets will take a guy like him because it's going to take some time to get those deep throws together. And I think Zach Wilson and him need more than the end of the season, but I think it'll probably be Garrett Wilson first. I don't know. I think that it'll be to the Jets, unfortunately. But, and I don't think the Falcons are selecting two wide receivers back-to-back years. So I don't care. I call Kyle Pitts a receiver. That's what he is.
Yeah, for sure. Campy, which is the first wide receiver you see going?
I think there's sort of much of a muchness. I think it's probably going to be Wilson. But, yeah, it's quite interesting actually talking about, Kyle Pitts, and not to go spend too much time back on the quarterback discussion, but my argument is always, if you've got a top 5 pick and you don't have a quarterback, just keep drafting quarterbacks. If you're top 5 3 years in a row, draft 3 quarterbacks, because we've seen how much they are integral in the NFL to a team at the moment. Like, you can see that the teams that don't have a good quarterback are basically just not going to do anything. But yeah, well, I think this is a really great year, I think, to be looking for a wide receiver, because I think, if your team doesn't get that first one, I don't think you're going to be too upset with getting that second or third one. I think, I think all of them could end up being good football players, which is,
And they're different. Williams, man, he's a rocket, deep threat. Garrett Wilson, excellent route runner. Chris Olave, great with the ball in his hands. Drake London, phenomenal athlete, big body, huge catch radius. So each of these guys, it's pick your flavor. They're all studs. I'm going with Jameson Williams. That's who I think is going to be the first wide receiver. Joe, follow me up on that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it just depends on the medicals. So that's my little caveat there. If the medicals on Jameson Williams that the teams are getting, it shows good progression, everything should be fine. In the long, everything should be fine in the long term. I do think he will go be the first wide receiver off the board. If there's some questions on the medicals, and I doubt there will be, but if there are some questions on the medicals, then I think it'll be. Geez, that's tough, man. I'm gonna say not Garrett Wilson. I'm gonna say I'll say Drake London.
All right. So
I assume the medicals will be fine. And I just want to give a shout out real quick to Jason Watson in the chat. He did say earlier when we were discussing running backs and teams that could take a running back in the first round, he pointed out the Buffalo Bills, which I think which is right on, because they do need a running back.
All right, Johnny Trees, which wide receiver is going first?
All right. Well, I will have to say I do think Drake London is going to go first. However, I did just read.
I hope not.
Why not? Because you want him to fall to the Packers. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were knocking Drake London.
No, he's amazing.
So selfish.
No.
He's my
Very
more
selfish. Very selfish.
Well, so here's the thing. I just read a rather not crack-headed, rather I don't know how to say this. Weird scenario.
Weird? Okay.
Interesting scenario where the Chiefs trade up for Jameson Williams at 13, and they send Houston the 29 and the 50th. I don't understand the rationale behind the Chiefs drafting wide receiver. Yes, they lost Tyreek Hill, but they added Juju. They have a boatload of weapons. I just don't see
MVS.
Oh boy.
It makes me laugh. Sorry.
I think the Chiefs need wide receiver, but I wouldn't trade up that high to
Sky Moore. Sky Moore, baby. That's their guy. Replace
Tyreek
Hill. Yes, if you're going to do it. Yep. And Christian Watson can burn. He can fly. You want a guy to take.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just kind of rambling. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what a shit show it will be with Juju and Mahomes on the sidelines.
Oh man, well it depends.
Oh, bring it,
Jesus
bring
Christ,
it, please.
If they come out the gate hot and then they start to crumble, you're gonna we'll figure out who they are. For sure.
It'll crumble because Juju is a clown.
And that division is tough, man. That division, they ain't playing around this offseason. They're all loading up, all of them.
Yeah.
That is a crazy division.
Yeah.
I think the thing that worries me it's I guess it's always the same thing with the receivers. Like, you don't know, there'll probably be a guy who gets taken in the third round that's better than most of the guys that were taken in the first round.
Right.
Not saying the best out of all of them, but it's so hard to tell in college. There you go. How a guy's going to be. They don't play against a bunch of press man coverage in college. They're able to run their routes, get open, and do their thing, and it's completely different when they get to the the men's.
A lot of them are schemed open. A lot of them.
Yeah,
and I think we've been spoiled the last 2 years as well, like by getting these wide receivers who come in and who are absolutely amazing. So I think you could have a lot of guys this year come in and get 800, 900 yards, and people will think they're a failure because of the last few years. And I think it's going to be really interesting because I think you're going to find a lot of casual fans are going to be like, oh, why didn't you get 1,500 yards? And it's like, everyone does that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, this is a lot of stuff that we wanted to put out there. I do want to wrap this thing up. We just went over an hour. Joe, all right, Nate, you go, and then I'll wrap this up.
Matt Ariza over under 110.5. Joe, where you got him? That's the prop bet everywhere. Over under 110.5. Matt Ariza.
Do you mean what round I expect?
The 110th pick. He's saying
110th pick is what we're saying. Matt Ariza is
which
over
is the fourth. It's the beginning of the fourth round. Oh geez, you know what? I'll take him.
Oh geez, Rick.
All right, I'll take him over. Just by a little. I mean, 110.
I have one more question for you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Giants pick up their 5th-year option on their quarterback? They've got to do it by the 2nd of May.
No.
Just after the
no. If they need to, if he balls out this year, then they will do tag.
All right. You heard it there. All right. So I do want to mention tomorrow night, tune in. Joe knows it's going to be the last mock draft of the this NFL offseason, or at least last 2022 NFL draft mock draft. Joe, tell them what time you're going live. Tell them what you got going on tomorrow night.
Well, going to be going live at 8:30 tomorrow. Both John and I, and anyone else who wants to join. Probably have Chris's videos in there from the chat as well, or he might even pop on the show too. We'll see. Chris's videos. Tell
Chris's videos. I got a free Frankenstein entry for him when you see him.
Chris's videos will do. I saw him earlier in the chat. If he's still here, I definitely will. Absolutely, he's like our number one fan, and I'm still not sure how I'm going to handle it yet. I liked your idea of just doing a first round, just a first round pick, and trying to John and I, maybe Chris's videos, deciding like who's going to go for each team with each team. Maybe we'll just do that. The original plan was to do all 7 rounds, but I think people are just I agree. I think people are just done with that.
Maybe do one and then submit it. Go online and ESPN, submit your first round mock and try to win yourself an award, a trophy.
Yeah, I think we'll just do that. I think we'll just focus on the first round and try to make it as realistic as possible.
My other idea was, we do the first round as we think it's going to happen, and then just off the rails, just crackpot scenarios, off the rails, like bonkers stuff that you probably won't see.
Well,
who knows?
Have at it. It's the world is your oyster, man. Go have at it. All right. So tomorrow night, subscribe, tune into that. And then Thursday night, like I said, we're probably going to go live about 20 minutes before the NFL draft starts. There's about 16 of us at Toilets to Titles. People are going to be coming in, coming out. We're just going to be hanging out, watching the draft, reacting to the picks, talking in between selections. It's just going to be a fun time. We want to see you in there because we would actually enjoy bringing you on. All right, if you want to be on. And talk about your picks, what you expect, and whatever. Let's have a good time together. This is like a culmination. A lot of work goes into the draft, and I know we're not GMs of NFL teams, but we are GMs of our fantasy rosters. We are nuts. If you're listening to a fantasy football podcast, in April, your chances are you're a nut like us. So let's connect and let's chat Thursday night. Let's enjoy this draft, everybody. If you don't mind, check out patreon.com/toilets to titles. Tier 1 is $3 a month. Get you into the group chat on Discord. We're talking all things fantasy football. You can talk about your trades and your dynasty leagues, fantasy leagues, whatever. We would love to see you in there. Tier 2 is $5 a month in season to get you early access. Monday night, waiver wire episodes where everybody from the Toilets to Titles team, we put some waiver suggestions in. Justin records an episode, or this year it's going to be random people. We're going to have that kind of worked out within our group. And they're going to, like right after Monday Night Football, about half hour after it ends, boom, you're going to get an email, Patreon episode. These are the waiver wire selections you should make. It also gets you into the group chat, gets you into our Frankenstank Listener League. Tier 3 gets you all that, gets you one-on-one roster analysis from anybody at Toilets to Titles, gets you free entry into Frankenstank, which is a $25 value, and that's $10 per month. So if you sign up for a Patreon for only 1 month and then dip, you're actually making $15 because that Frankenstank entry is $25, so you're saving yourself some money. So we really appreciate you. Look forward to chatting with you. Come in Wednesday night. Be there with Joe and John. Be here Thursday night with us. Go back, listen to the Fun Day draft where these guys had a great draft, drafting NFL team names. And Joe, go ahead, man.
Don't go yet. Real quick, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Who do you think the first tight end is going to be off?
Oh boy, we're going back into discussion.
Real quick.
Trey McBride, and then
round?
And then Rucker. Trey McBride's going to go in the second, and I believe Rucker from Ohio State probably go early third.
Yeah, gotcha. I don't think there's going to be too many. I agree. I think it's going to be probably no more than 2 tight ends taken in the second.
I think NFL GMs like Rucker more than individuals like us. I think
the value in the mid rounds for tight ends can be phenomenal, but none of them are first round.
Hey, how about that? Ending the show with some tight end discussion.
Well, I was going to say, if the Eagles take a wide receiver in the first round, can we call them a tight end? Because that's what they're going to be moved to when they suck in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's an MO now.
Yeah, we got to wait a few years, and then we can make the designation on MFL and Sleeper. Just convert them. All right, well, everybody, enjoy your evening. Stay healthy, stay well. Enjoy the draft if we don't see you, but we do hope to see you here. Take care.
Good night, all.